Hey guys, welcome back to Horton's Flower Farm. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot to catch up on today because I've been away for a week. I went to Florida, I relaxed, but I have a lot to do. So this video is going to be taking you through everything I'm going to try and catch up on, everything I'm behind on. So let's get started. All right, guys, so I have my folder here, and my folder is important because I don't even know what I'm planting today. So let me tell you about what's going on here. I don't have, well, you can see it back here. I have only 3 trays of flowers growing. So how am I having a whole flower farm and I only have 3 trays of flowers growing? Well, because I went to Florida and I knew I'd be away during that specific time when you need to be here for the plants, I decided to order more plugs. So in between the last 2 weeks, I ordered some more plugs so that my first planting in the ground on May 21st will be my first planting. Everything that I'm planting today is kind of going to be a succession planting of the first planting. So everything that I ordered from plugs is mostly what's going to be on the farm. So I'm just going to go through that with you. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm planting today, why I'm planting it, when those plants are going to go out. So yeah, and then let me just show you a couple more things. I sprouted the dahlia tubers before I went away, and they were okay. So they're sprouting. I have them down here too, as you can see. So they got like little sprouts on them. I think I counted around 30. So those are pre-sprouted. Those are doing okay. So let me go through the folder with you and tell you exactly what's happening today. All right, guys, so I have all my seeds laid out in front of me that I'm going to be starting today. So I'm going to go over with you the marigolds first. So last year I planted marigolds and I did yellow. I did the African marigolds, yellow and orange, and they were beautiful. But this year I found a lot of different other varieties I want to try. So I'm going to show you, there's like a couple. So here we go. So the first one is this one that I got from Rare Seeds. So look at that one, it's pretty Baker Creek. So that's a beautiful orange. Then I wanted to try the Kilimanjaro white. I have here, this one is the Mexican mint marigold. I don't have the picture on this one, but this one, I believe the Mexican mint marigold are smaller ones. So that's that one. I'm doing a white swan from Johnny's Seeds. I never did that one before. This is the giant yellow from last year. This is the gold from last year. This one I got actually from Floret, and I'm very excited about it. It's called the Starfire Mix, and these are smaller ones, and these almost look like a beautiful filler marigold. So that's something I'm excited to try. And I think that's it for the marigolds. So as you can see, there's a lot of different marigolds I'm trying. I'm excited about it. So I'm going to be seeding those in a second. I'm just going to show you a couple more seeds that I have to get in started today. Okay, so I'm going to also be putting in some Indian Summer Rudbeckia. Now, I ordered a lot of Rudbeckia in plugs, and I ordered the ones that were harder to grow for me. So those were like the Saharas, the Prairie, which is like the green center. The Indian Summer was the easiest one to grow for me. So instead of ordering that in plugs, I'm going to grow that one myself. I'm also starting, I ordered a lot of Celosia in plugs. So I was going to grow some myself, but I said, you know what, I ordered them all, so I don't even think I'm going to grow the Celosia. I might grow the Flamingo Feathers because that's a variety I didn't order. I ordered all Pompous Plume and also the one that looks like a brain. I ordered that one too because my clientele like that. So I might just do the Flamingo Feathers, a couple myself, and then the Gomphrena. So the Gomphrena, I did not order any of those in plugs because those were super simple to grow. So I will be doing Gomphrena. So I'll be doing the Audrey White. I have orange. Now last year on my farm, it was mostly pink. So I wanted to do a little bit different, a mix of the Gomphrena. So I'm just looking where the rest of my Gomphrena. I said I was gonna do a mix, now I have 2 in front of me. Let me see if I could find them. But I do have the white, the orange, and I think I was gonna do the pink as well. So I'm sure it's probably in here somewhere. One more that I wanted to try this year was a salvia. And I saw this really cool salvia and I was like, this would be beautiful in the bouquet. So I'm going to try it out. Let's see. So yeah, so this salvia says you need to start at 10 weeks before the last frost. So this looks like if I'm going to be putting this one out, it's going to bloom later in the season. So that's okay because I just couldn't get it together to do it. But I'm going to try it anyway. So that's the salvia. I do have cosmos and zinnias. Oh, here we go. I found more of my gomphrena. So my gomphrena, I have the mix here. I have the raspberry cream. I didn't do that last year. That one I'm excited about. And that one's a zinnia. Okay, so those are the gomphrena I will be planting. And I think there was one more salvia actually. But let me see if I can find it here. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I found the celosia I got from Floret. So let me just show you the celosia. So last year I planted a mix of celosia, and my favorite one was this dusty vintage like rose. So I tried looking everywhere if they sold that just as that color, and I couldn't find it anywhere. But I went on Floret, and sure enough, here it is. It says this is the vintage rose mix. So I'm going to be starting this. Yeah, you can't find a lot of celosia just in that one color, so as plugs. So I'm going to be doing that one from Floret, and I'm excited about that. Okay, what else? So I wasn't going to grow statice this year. That's what I said. And yet I have a whole tray of statice over there. So I'm probably going to be putting in, I probably don't have to make any more statice. I didn't want to put statice, and then here's the reason why I want to try it again. It didn't do well last year. It was in my video of the 8 flowers not to grow. So I went to a local farmer, and he said, I showed him a picture of how my statice was, and he said that, the chimes. He said that is not how statice is supposed to grow. Statice is supposed to grow very like abundant and full, and he said, you probably didn't fertilize enough because it's not supposed to grow like that, all straggly and just a couple of blooms. So I said, wasn't going to grow you this year. But now it's like the challenge. He told me that like it's supposed to be like these big, beautiful bunches of it. So I'm going to try it because I want to see if that's what's going to happen, because that would be really pretty. So yes, there's a tray of statice. So I will be putting some statice in.
All right, guys, so I decided to do all my seeding outside so I wouldn't make a mess, and it's a nice day out. So I have my trays out here. I have my potting soil. I'm going to get some water, get it nice and moist, and we're going to get started. All right, guys, so I recorded a whole 5-minute section and my camera had no space on the card. So I'm just gonna tell you what I did right here. So I started with the marigolds, and I'm gonna be succession planting them 3 weeks. So my first tray, I'm doing a mixed tray. I started with the Kilimanjaro white, and I did 50 of each. So 50 on that. I did 50 of the orange, 50 of the Floret Starfire mix, and then 50 of the white swan. So basically they have to go in 1/4 of an inch deep. So I put them in 1/4 of an inch deep, and then I cover them with the soil. So that's going to be my first planting of the marigolds until next week, because again, I want to succession plant them out just in case they die off like they did last year. Then I'll have a couple more weeks with my succession planting. All right, guys, so the next tray I'm going to be seeding are the salvia. So this one is the salvia, the queen mix. Okay, this one actually says it should have been started 10 weeks before. This one says it should have been started 10 weeks before the last frost date. So again, this will be later blooming than in my field, which is fine. And this one says 6 to 8 weeks. So this one is the salvia blue. So this one from Johnny's will bloom a little bit earlier than this one, which is totally fine. Again, I really want succession plantings this year of things that do bloom a little bit later. Okay, so I'm going to get started with those. All right, guys, so I'm just looking at the seed depth. On these, it says 1/16 of an inch, and on the salvia blue, it's telling me 1/4 of an inch. So that's a big difference. So the salvia blue are going to go down a little bit deeper, and the queen, these purple ones, are going to be more towards the top of the soil. Okay. Okay guys, so I just want to show you, they're not so tiny, you can see them, they're like little balls, so I can put one in each one because I can kind of see where they're going, so that's not as bad as some of like the celosia are really hard, so I'm going to put one in each one. So these purple ones I only have 50 of, so they're only going to be 50 in here, and I think I have more on the Salvia the Blues. So if I happen to drop 2 in each cell, I'm going to take it out and put it in its own separate cell, because they are rolling, a couple of them are rolling in 2, which is okay. I'm just going to be aware of that when I see the seedlings growing and they're big enough. I'm going to transplant them into their own cell pack. So I'm not going to pinch them off just because these seeds are a little bit more expensive for the 50. All right guys, so I have all my salvia in, so I'm going to be covering it lightly with some soil. Just going to sprinkle it on top because again, some of these just want to be a 1/16 of an inch covered, so I don't want to cover them that much. Okay, so they're covered. Let me know if you guys have grown salvia and were successful and what varieties you've grown, because I'm trying to look for a nice variety of salvia. I've heard that the blue is really pretty. The other variety, the Queen Mix, I haven't heard anything about yet, but I guess we'll see. Okay guys, so we made it all the way to the straw flowers. So on these, I'm only going to be planting a tray of 200. I'm kind of running out of space, but that'll be perfectly fine. 200's like a half a row. These will be set back further in a different position on my farm. I had grown some corn last year. I'm not going to be growing corn again. It didn't do that well. So these will be where the corn are on the back. So I have a mix, and I also have silver rose, which is really pretty, and then a king size orange, and that's great for the fall bouquets. All right, so I'm going to be mixing them in here, so let's get going. All right guys, so for the straw flowers, I'm just looking at the back of the pack again. Okay, so these have to be planted in, and it says do not cover, needs light to germinate. So that's why it's really important to read the back of the seed packs, because every seed is completely different, and this one, if you cover, wouldn't germinate very well. So I'm going to be seeding these in, and I don't have to cover them. All right guys, so these seeds actually are pretty easy to see. I'm going to show you them, the straw flowers. Okay, so again, a nice easy seed, and I'm going to be pretty liberal with these and just put a couple per, and then I could pinch them down, just because you do get a lot of seeds. The straw flowers are one of the cheaper seeds, so you don't have to be super careful about putting 2 in each one. So I actually want to mention something. The straw flowers that I'm using from this year are a pack from last year. So everybody wonders, can you use old seeds? So yes, you can, except the germination rate is lower. So actually that's why it's good that I'm putting a couple in each cell pack, because then I have a better chance for one of them germinating in there. So you can, and these, they're not very old, they're just from last season, so they should do okay. But again, and you'll see in the next coming videos, we'll talk about that and see what the germination rate is and see if it worked or not. Okay guys, so they're good to go. I'm not going to cover them, and we'll see how they germinate. All right guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the work that I had to do, the plans that I have for my succession planting, and the way that everything is going to go. So from this video out, you're going to be seeing a lot of the progress of the seedlings. I'm going to be talking about getting compost delivered to my farm. So there's a lot happening right now. I'm ready to get this going and get the farm started, because in 4 weeks it is planting day and there are things that need to be done. So stick around for all the other videos so you can see how much is going to get done in 4 short weeks. I'll see you guys soon.